You're watching Satluj TV News. I'm Angus Scott in London. A representative of the Henry Jackson Society has publicly apologised today for wrongly accusing pro-Khalistan supporters of causing violence at a recent Kabaddi tournament in Derby. The tournament witnessed shocking scenes of violence as two rival gangs in the area wielded swords and weaponry at each other, culminating in the arrest of 4 people and the hospitalisation of 3 men with serious injuries. However, after the incident, GB News broadcast a news item covering the events, and presenter Nigel Farage introduced what he believed to be an expert on the subject matter, Wasiq Wasiq, of the Henry Jackson Society. In fact, Wasiq, a former music teacher turned associate fellow of the society, then expounded at length how the violence was clearly the product of pro-Khalistan supporters, whilst providing no evidence whatsoever to support his claim. As a result, OFCOM was bombarded with complaints, and several Sikh organisations raised public concerns about the specious claim. In a welcome turn of events, Wasiq appeared today on video alongside well-known Sikh Ravi Singh of Khalsa Aid and apologised for his earlier accusation.
The first thing that I would like to say to the Sikh community is that I apologise for what I said on GB News in regards to the Khalistani movement. That's certainly something that I wasn't looking to present as a homogenous movement that is purely based on violence.
Whilst the apology was welcomed by the Sikh community, the words remained carefully chosen and still indirectly implied that he viewed at least part of the movement as violent. The Henry Jackson Society, a transatlantic foreign policy and national security think tank based in the UK, claims to be a non-partisan lobby group for democracy and human rights. However, it has often been accused of pursuing a particularly neoliberal and neoconservative agenda, and suffers the common problem of such organisations where its policies tend to be skewed and controlled by whoever happens to be sponsoring the organisation at any given moment. And this has been none more so apparent with recent accusations from many that it's being funded by the Indian government, which would explain a strongly pro-India agenda, and the society's sustained attacks against minorities like the Sikhs across the media at every opportunity. This recent accusation, branding Khalistanis as terrorists, that provokes such deep anger across the Sikh community, follows yet another member of the same society, Charlotte Littlewood, who yesterday promoted a story claiming that only a tiny fringe of the Sikh community admire Sant Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale, whilst the vast majority of Sikhs detest what he stood for. This claim subsequently provoked a torrent of anger across social media from much of the Sikh community, both internationally and within Punjab itself, many of whom had to remind Littlewood that aside from the fact every Gurdwara hangs a portrait of Bhindranwale, he was also voted the greatest living Sikh of the 20th century by the largest organisation managing Gurdwaras, the SGPC. In recent years, India's minorities have suffered a barrage of negative propaganda generated by the strongly Hindu Indian government, which has created deep divisions amongst Indian society, both domestically and internationally. India is fast becoming a global power with vast resources behind it, much of which is now being channelled into creating what most independent human rights organisations are calling authoritarian rule. For a country that claims to be the world's so-called largest democracy, from recent evidence, it might talk the talk, but it clearly is struggling to walk the walk. You've been watching Satluj TV News, and you can find more stories in detail on our channel at Satnet News, so it's worth clicking on that subscribe button to make sure you get to see stories as they're broadcast. And don't forget, if you have any comments or opinions on any of our news stories, you can comment below, or why not drop us a direct message at message@satlujtv.com. We'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, thanks for watching. For Satluj TV News, I'm Angus Scott in London.